Hi, I'm Robin. Welcome to my podcast, I'd Like My Crayons Back, a podcast about creativity in all its forms. Today we have Josh Lounsberry with us, who spins wool into yarn. He has other interests as well, which I'm sure we'll get into, but he does it the old fashioned hands on way. Hold on one second, he'll be right up. Hi, Josh. How are
Hey,
you?
Robin. How you doing? Good.
Good, good. What do you think of the snow today?
Uh, Looks nice till it melts.
Till it
So
melts, I know. Very Christmassy because I already have some decorations out.
yeah, we've done some decorating, not in here, of course, but just throughout. But
Yeah.
yeah, the snow looks great till it's gone.
Until it's gone. Yeah, then it's mud. The first thing I want to do is to show a video of your sheep, if you don't mind.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Hold
Hey,
on.
he's our ram. We just got him back in September. His name is Blaze.
Blaze,
So he's here to mate and
make more little sheepies.
yeah, more little sheepies. So he's done his job.
Hi, guys. Look at you. And do you get the wool from these sheep?
I have in the past. I just haven't done it this year. This
Okay.
year's a little crazy.
Okay. Yeah, they're really cute. I know they have a utilitarian purpose, but they're adorable. Okay, so first, before we move on to particulars of your craft, how did you get started in it?
I've always wanted to do this. We moved here like 18 years ago, and I wanted to learn how to just do it. I saw it somewhere, and I was like, that looks cool. I would love to be able to make yarn out of wool and use the old antique wheels. And that was probably like when I was in the fourth grade. And then one of our chicken customers, uh, we had just finished shearing our sheep, and she was coming by to pick up. And my dad was like, "Hey, she wants one of our dirty fleeces for spinning." And I was like, "All right." So I gave her the fleece when she was picking up her birds, and we were just talking, and she was like, "I'll show you how to do this." And ever since then, her name's Wendy. She's part of the group that I'm a part of. That was like 7 years ago. So I've been spinning for 7 years now.
Wow. Well,
Yeah,
what is dirty fleece? Can you explain that for people who don't know?
Dirty Fleece. It's actually also a website where you can get fleece that's dirty, and you can get it for dirt cheap. So
So that's
yeah,
dirty fleece done dirt cheap, I think you told me, right? Dirty
yeah,
fleece done dirt cheap. Okay. But
yeah.
why is it called that?
Because you can get dirty fleece there, but the
No, I meant
fleece
the fleece.
the fleece is dirty because it has like poop in it. It also has lanolin, which is the thing that the sheep's body produces. It's also kind of like an insulate to kind of like keep the animal warm during like times like this. And yeah, so that's one thing that makes the fleece dirty. Then also you also have other things like you'll hear the term VM, which stands for vegetable matter, which is just like any kind of vegetation that is like in the fleece. Like our sheep get it all the time because they kind of venture into like weird places. We have like the thistle bushes, the thing that everybody cuts
Yeah.
down. Those get real big since we don't cut out in our pasture, so they have like the thistles, and you really can't get them out.
Yeah, because they get like those little burrs that just then the fleece knots around it, I guess, the wool.
Yeah,
And
yeah. There's a whole lot of stuff that can get your wool dirty. Also, not to mention mud, mud, poop, and yeah. So there's a lot of stuff that makes the fleece dirty, as you can imagine. But
yeah.
yeah.
Well, lanolin is really good for your hands. Now, if you clean the fleece, does that come out of it?
Yes, you could. People even prefer to leave like a certain amount of lanolin in the wool, so because it's just because like it's kind of like an insulant, but yeah, or people. It also helps with the spinning. It also helps fortify the yarn
Hmm.
when you're spinning, so it kind of like keeps the yarn. It kind of keeps it from tearing apart when you're spinning, so you can kind of get it maybe let's say thinner. It's hard to explain. I think the video will help of
Okay.
me spinning, but Yeah, so people do that. I have people in my group who like they'll like take their they can take their fleece to a forgot the name of the place, what it's called, but it's like a refinery. It's like a refinery where you can get your wool cleaned, and they they're like, do you want like any lanolin? And they could be like, yeah, like leaving like 30% lanolin left, leave in
Oh,
the
okay.
fleece. Yeah. So
You know what? Now that you say this, I'm going to show the video of you spinning, and then you can explain where that 1850s spinning wheel came from and how. Are you ready? Here we go.
yeah.
I have to say, it looks like what was going into, is that called a spindle? Where it
Uh
was wrapping around, or what is that called?
that's the bobbin.
That's the
The
bobbin. And
yeah.
it looked thin, like looked like what was coming onto it was thin. Was that what you meant?
Yeah, yeah. Like I don't really like when I clean my wool, I like wash all the lanolin out. I don't leave like a trace in that I can find. So um yeah, that part that you see it going in through, it goes through a couple parts. Matter of fact, can I get this guy off? Yes, I can. So this would be a cool little nifty show and tell. Okay, so this part right here, this is where the yarn goes through. The first strand of the yarn. It gets pulled through from the bands. The bands make this spin, and that causes this to twist. And when that twists and spins, it gets sucked in through the orifice, this guy right here. So this is the orifice, and this gets hooked up onto the this part, and then into the bobbin. So this is the bobbin right here. I'll show you in a second. And it's funny, that wheel that we just saw, that's a Canadian production wheel, and the people in the factories who would spin with them, they got paid for each full bobbin. So this is the bobbin. So once they would get this thing filled up, this isn't a Canadian production wheel, which you just saw in the video. That was a Canadian production wheel. So yeah, they would get them nice and full, and then each full bobbin would get them more money.
So they weren't like paid hourly; they were paid just by the finished product.
Paid by the finished product. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So that could be a problem with some jobs.
Yeah.
So now, how did you come about getting that wheel?
That wheel. The one in the video, that was actually from a friend of mine who had kind of passed on. And it was kind of like an estate sale, and I was like, yes, I'll buy this wheel. It's an awesome wheel. Yeah, I have like 6 wheels now, and that's just one of them. It's actually in my room right behind me right now. So yeah, that's one of my one of 2 CPWs I have, Canadian production wheels. The other one, which was my first one, the Canadian production wheels are all from like Quebec.
Okay.
Just a little history about that. And yeah, as well as those, I have 2 Pennsylvania Dutch wheels. That's what this guy right here is from.
Okay. I have a video of that if you'd like me to show.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so this is a Pennsylvania Dutch upright flax wheel. Right here, it's been refurbished. Has pretty much all its parts. It's not fully tensioned up. Unlike most wheels, the tension of the wheel, which is how you get the band tightened up so everything will work properly. You spin this knob at the top, and it gets the wheel to work and move. Right now, there's nothing on it, and right now we don't have a distaff. That's the thing that would hold the flax, and that's a whole different thing compared to wool. And yeah, so this one's different because it's not like most flax wheels. This wheel, you go out, you find a branch, whittle it down so it would fit in this hole, and that branch would hold the flax.
That is so neat. How did you learn how to use these wheels? Did someone show you? Did you?
Yeah, the person who got me into it, Wendy, she showed me. She showed me, and like just going to like our meetings, and there was like watching a couple YouTube videos, but it was mostly just learning from people how to spin.
Right,
I learned by the wisdom of others.
right. And you had said, I know, when I was doing the show the sheep video, you said you hadn't gotten wool from them this year. You'd use some in the sewing project, but that you get wool from other places. Where do you get
That's
your
kind
wool?
of that's kind of funny. I also get a lot of the stuff from my group. And it's not just fleece and wool that you can spin, by the way. Like I literally have a bag of dog hair from my other friend.
Really?
Yeah, you can spin dog hair, cat hair. If you ever heard of mohair, that comes from
Hmm.
rabbits. Rabbits.
Okay.
So you can spin that as well. We have like a sample. Usually when we go to festivals, like for example, like the Blueberry Festival, which is in Bethlehem, we'll have like a table set up with like all the stuff you can spin. So there's camel hair, there's bison, as well as like all the other breeds of sheep. Like, yeah, there's a lot of breeds of sheep.
And
Um,
alpaca. I know that
alpaca,
alpacas are a big thing around here.
yeah,
I've
alpacas
seen
are
some. Yeah.
spin pretty much just about anything. Uh, what else have people spun? Oh, fun little fact. It takes forever to spin, but people have spun spider silk.
Really? What do they use that for?
The only thing I've ever seen with spider silk was a really big dress that hangs up in it's this one dress. It's yellow and it's in a museum somewhere, and it would take
Wow.
forever. Like that would
Wow,
take.
that is amazing. Holy cow. If I had known this in advance, I would have tried to find a picture of it that I could put up, but that's okay. Um, as far as dyeing the wool, you do that,
Yep,
correct? Okay,
yep.
I'm
I
going to
got it.
bring up a slideshow and I'll show the different wools that you had shown me. There we go.
Okay.
This is, go ahead.
Yeah. So obviously this is like all my finished yarn that I have in my stash. So the orange ones you see like kind of speckled around, those big orange balls, that's dyed with a plant that grows like on the side of roads and near creeks. That's called jewelweed. Jewelweed.
Okay.
You,
So
yes.
there we go.
Yeah, they're like an orange. They have like a little orange flower. They bloom around like August, September, and some
Okay.
parts of October. So
Okay.
yeah, that's that. That's more
So,
jewelweed.
okay.
And yeah, that's more jewelweed. We
More?
have a lot. Yeah, that's the same.
How about
Okay, that
that?
that was walnut. Like the just to give people a background, those things that fall off the trees into the road, they're like the orangey green balls that like rot right away. That's what those are. That's why I used to dye. So last year I did like a whole bunch of this stuff, and this was kind of a funny story. It was my first time dyeing with this stuff, and I was doing it outside. I had the propane. I have a propane little burner, and I put it in the kettle. I was dyeing in there, and I was like, dude, I'm gonna dye so much wool with these walnuts because it's really pungent and you can get a lot done. Like what was it, like 30 minutes into the dyeing, and all I hear one of my family members come out and they're like, what smells like dog shit? And I'm like, oh. They're like, that's coming from there. You need to finish this up, and you gotta be careful because walnut, the juice is it's toxic. I've gotten it on my hands, but it'll kill it'll like if it gets like on the grass, it'll kill the grass.
Wow.
Yeah, it's also a great weed killer. I've used it to kill like all the poison ivy plants where I do my knife throwing. So just
I'm
about
gonna have
all of
to
them.
bear that in mind. How do you prepare that?
Real simple. You just get like a bucket. Like for the poison ivy killer, you
Hmm.
just get like a bucket, pour some water in it with the walnuts inside of it, and like it'll rot, and it'll saturate the water. It'll turn like black and has like an oily look to it. And you can do a lot of other stuff with walnuts as well. Like I'm making stain. I pretty much collected out of the 2 walnut trees we had. I think I have like 8 or 9 buckets. I gave some of it away. That's how many I had.
Wow.
So I'm gonna make ink to like draw with, and then not ink. Like I said, stain. I'm doing Christmas gifts. Like, so the stain will go to my older brother if I can manage the time to get it finished. So
Okay.
yeah, you can do a lot with the walnuts. Walnuts are a great dye. You don't need to really do anything other than just stick let's say, your yarn or your fleece in. You don't need to do mortancing, which is where that's like when you start to get into the sciencey kind of thing with dyeing. That's like your first.
Now, could you actually, not to go off on a tangent, but with the walnut stain, if you wanted to stain, let's say, wood, would you just
Yeah,
like skim the oil off and not use the watery part, or?
yeah, you can use the whole thing. You can use the
Okay.
oil and water. Like you would boil it, like let's say for like 8 hours or 6 hours. You boil it and then you let it cool, and then you boil it for another like 6 or something hours. Same thing goes for the. I have to look at the recipes again, but yeah, you use the whole thing. You use whatever watery oil substance.
Okay. I'm going to
So
go back to the slideshow because I think there is a picture of a walnut. Let's see. And is that walnut or jewelweed or something else? This one.
actually, that is jewelweed and Shetland. Shetland
Oh,
isn't dyed. It's just came from a sheep named Liberty Bell. That's the other great thing about wool spinning is not only where the fleece came from, you know the name of the animal sometimes.
that's neat.
Yeah, she
And
lives in New Jersey. That's the one plant you can dye with. So
okay.
that's blue chicory, which gives
Hmm.
you a nice coffee brown. I've done some stuff with it. I've gotten like yellow colors from it. But another fun little fact with that plant, if the roots, if you ever see them, they're blue. They got blue flowers on them. They bloom all throughout summer.
And
Like
it's the one with the little teeny light blue petals. Yeah, yeah.
yes,
And you see that along the side of the road a lot.
yeah. So you dye with the stem, of course, and you get a brown, even though it's blue flowers. So
Right.
another cool thing is you can take the stem and you can make coffee with it. However, it's decaf coffee.
Decaf coffee.
Yeah, you can make decaf coffee with the root of the blue chicory plant, which is also referred to as cornflower. Just so there's no.
It's funny. I think in the movie Gone with the Wind, when they were in dire straits, they were making coffee from chicory. At
Really?
one point in the movie, yeah, they
Huh.
were because I remember somebody was annoyed in the movie because they weren't getting real coffee, but they didn't have any access to real coffee, so they were making it from chicory. I know, what silly little fact. Keep going.
Yeah, I didn't know that. That's interesting. Yeah, I almost did that this summer. Of course, I didn't have time, as usual. But yeah, you can dye with pretty much most plants. There's like a book out there. I forget the name of the book, of course. My one friend Cindy, she has that, and you can dye with anything like tree bark. You can do that. Wood. You have to ground it up, of course, and
And berries,
another
can you use berries to
you
dye with, or is
can.
it you can?
But everybody in my group, especially my one friend, she was like, "Don't dye with berries. They're fugitive. Fugitive meaning that they fade real quick."
Oh, I was going to ask that because it didn't seem like it had the strength to last. But I also have a
Yeah,
picture of
yeah.
the.
That's
Go ahead, you keep talking. I just wanted to show the
oh
walnut before I forget.
yeah. So yeah, berries aren't very good. Um, I had a friend who died with what's the poison berry around here? I forget. I'm blanking out today.
Oh, it grows everywhere, and there's birds are okay, but it's poisonous to everybody else.
I
It's
had a friend
poke,
who
poke,
pokey
poke.
berries. Pokey berries. I had a friend. It was his first it was his first natural dye bath, and he's like, I used the poke berries, and everybody was like, don't touch your hand, don't put your hands in your mouth, wear gloves. As a matter of fact, don't touch the yarn in general.
Wow.
Because it's like really poisonous. People
Yeah,
just
and I
like,
guess he didn't know. Now, even he once it dried, would it be safe, or like every time it was wet, was somebody at
yeah,
risk?
I don't know. I would
Okay.
assume yes, and I wouldn't trust that police at
Yeah.
all. But
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So look up to anybody who wants to do natural dyeing. Don't use poke berries, and look up the plants. There's some good apps out there. Forget the name of it, of course, but you'll find like good like plant identification apps that can like help you. It'll tell you like all sorts of stuff like this plant's poisonous, this plant's not poisonous, this is what this plant is used for medicinal wise. Um, yeah, like the jewelweed. Jewelweed's great for treating poison ivy. You can freeze the jewelweed that you extract. It'll be like an orange juice. Put it in an ice cube tray, and if you have poison ivy, let's say like on your arm, you just take the cube and you just rub it on the poison ivy, and it treats it. So another little fun
That's
fact.
that's excellent to know, because I'm not like allergic to everything out there anymore. And I'll come in from gardening and I'm like, I haven't touched anything, but I have a rash up my arm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I wear like gloves outside now. Not gloves, but I wear like tipless gloves because I don't get poison ivy as bad on my fingertips, but like the palms, like if I get it on my palms or the web of my fingers, it's game over.
Right. Yeah. I just somebody told me there's a thing called asparagus weed around here. Apparently, I'm allergic to that.
Really.
Sorry, I'm just moving my questions so I can.
Yeah.
Um, ah, I'm dropping my paper. That's okay. But as far as the spinning, like I'm going to show that again because that's just on the this wheel right here. And that's the wheel from 1850. And you had
Yeah.
to do a little refurbishing to it, I think.
I had to take it to my wheel person. She does like woodworking and wood restorations, and she knows all about the history. We don't even know, like most of the time, we don't even know when these wheels were made. Like that one wheel you saw in there, the only thing the only details we were able to really find out about was one, it was like 1800s Quebec, and the maker was either his name, there was two of them, they were brothers. It was either Phileas or Mikel Cataract, the Cataract brothers. So they
Okay.
were two brothers, both woodworkers, and they allegedly made that wheel, and well, of course, others.
Right. It
Yeah,
seems
so
like
that's
it's really relaxing too when you're sitting there, and it's just you're feeding, and pushing the thing with your foot. Are you able to like relax, or if you don't pay attention, all of a sudden it's going to go wonky?
that's the great thing about spinning as well. It is relaxing. It's a great thing to do. Like at the end of the day, that I do that pretty often. Or you can do it while watching like Netflix or whatever. People in my group have binged like entire shows just like spinning, and you don't really like once you get it down, it's like riding a bike.
Right,
You
right.
you can just do you can just watch TV, and there is you can be really meticulous with wool spinning as well. Like I know people who do like three taps of the pedal, and then they like let it loose, get sucked into the bobbin, so it can that way it has a consistency. Um, there's also contests where people have taken their skeins, which are the finished balls of wool, and they're judged for consistency. But yeah, wool spinning is relaxing, great hobby to do at the end of the day. For anybody who's willing to try it, it will be a hard start. It was a hard start with me. Um, I used alpaca wool in the very beginning, which is it's more silky, so it comes apart easily. So that was stressful. So that wasn't relaxing. So
Right.
grab sheep wool,
Now,
And
do you sell your wool at all?
to be honest, I've been told by like lots of people that I should, but to be honest, it's kind of an odd thing. There's lots of opinions on this. My one friend, she put this into perspective. She was like, the amount of work we put into like making like one, like just this alone, would probably be double or triple the price of like the stuff in the store already.
Right.
And this is just single strand. This isn't joined with the other strand, which would make it the finished yarn. So that would be kind of expensive, and people wouldn't want to pay for that. And the that kind of goes with the next thing with like people from our group. Like we try to get people to look at this art form and be like, maybe inspire them to take this up as well. Because it's a self-sustainable kind of thing. Like people nowadays just go to the store and buy something. Like this is something you can make, like I can make at home. And we try to. It's not like a buying thing. It's kind of like, hey, look, we did this. You can do it too.
Right. Right. And do you ever make anything from your yarn? Like, I don't know if you knit or any, but I didn't know if you ever attempted to make something to wear from it or.
Yeah, so I do knit. I'm still like very beginner. I've knitted like scarves. I've knitted a net gaiter, and my mom, I given her some of my hand spun stuff, and she's made like Christmas trees with them, like little like cone Christmas trees
Hmm.
where she just wraps the yarn around the cone, and she's like given them as gifts. I am trying to knit myself a beanie. That's my goal for the winter. So I asked people in my group to show me how to knit a beanie. So I have the sewing pattern on my computer from Ravelry, which is a website for knitting. The world of knitting is crazy too. That's a whole thing I haven't really jumped into as well. Yeah.
You did mention that you wanted to learn how to weave and that you have a loom that needs some repair.
Yeah, I just got a loom. I got it for free. Um, I had to go get it and get it out of the storage of my one friend. So right now I'm like $8 into fixing it up. So I haven't really gotten a chance to do that, of course, but that's also another winter activity for me. And yeah, loom weaving is a whole world on its own. Like there's spinning, and then there's knitting, and then there's weaving. Uh, Weaving is very complicated. Like I watched one YouTube video, I'm like, I'm so lost on this. So hopefully, maybe in our next interview, I'll be a weaver as well.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
That would
but
be because I have looked at some of those YouTube videos too for weaving because I think hand woven blankets are just amazing. But yeah, when I watch them, I'm like, what? I don't quite get what they're doing.
yeah, so I give people who weave a lot of respect
Yeah,
because
because they come up with some incredibly beautiful patterns.
yeah,
Like,
and the stuff they come up with is yeah, crazy. Like if you look back in old times, like the stuff they made like for like mats and other blankets and scarves was pretty intricate. It's pretty incredible what they've made. Um
yeah,
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 weaving is I can't say a whole ton on weaving other than it's amazing and people who do it are incredibly skilled.
right. Um, let's see. I'm just looking at my other questions to make sure I'm not forgetting anything. Oh, right. You were interviewed by the local news at one of those shows, right?
Yeah, so that was for the McCungy Fiber Arts Festival.
The
That's
McCungy Fiber Arts Festival. That's neat.
actually it's Lehigh. I have the bag right here. Hang on. Lehigh Valley Fiber Arts Festival. So that's like Lehigh Valley's, of course, fiber art festival, and we were spinning there. We were the demonstrators of wool spinning that year, We usually do it like every year. We're like, we have our own little area, and it's always good because people who stop by usually know about wool spinning. Like, let's say we do other events. We do like Easton Heritage Day, and we get people who every once in a while have the knowledge. Like, you'll get the people who are the reenactors, and then they know, but they don't have like a whole ton of knowledge. And then you get like random people that are like, "What are you doing?" And of course we explain. But at the Fiber Arts Festival, people always know. They're like, "Oh, you guys are spinning wool," and yeah. But yeah, so before that, the festival, it was like the Friday before the festival started. It started Saturday, so I was people, the group, this group I keep mentioning, we're called Second Saturday Spinners. We spin at the Bethlehem Rose Garden in the summertime. So if you're ever up near the Rose Garden, that's where we usually are. We're underneath the trees. The whole place is underneath trees. So
Okay.
yeah, so we're usually there. Or in the past, we were at the Hellertown Farmers Market. So anyway, I was interviewed for the news. Yeah, that was. I'm not good with interviews. I'm getting better. So I remember when I did the interview. I just watched the interview recently because I know you were like, "Hey, can we show it?" And I'm like, "I don't know, can you?" I like went back and I was like, "Wow, that was a really bad interview." So if you hate me, there's an interview of me out there just totally bombing on 69 Channel News, talking about spinning wheels.
Well, we're not showing it, so you're saying
Yeah. Thank you for not showing that. That
you're
was
quite welcome. Now, let's say somebody wants to do what you do. How would they go about starting, or who would they contact, or how, point them in the direction?
okay for the East Coast. Like, let's say you're somebody on New Jersey. There is a great little group. They're called New Jersey Fiber Shed. I believe they cover the entire New Jersey and like lower New York area. But they have a website, and last I checked, you can get a free drop spindle. So a drop spindle, that's what I trained on. A drop spindle is nothing like a wheel. It's like a dreidel like contraption. And you just spin it, and the yarn's up here. It's a whole thing. So they can send you a dreidel, not a dreidel, a spindle, a drop spindle. It's made out of 2 CDs and just like a stick of wood.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, you can make these at home. So anybody who wants to make their own spindle, you don't even have to go to them. You can find like 2 CDs, glue them together with the wooden spindle or wooden something.
Like a dowel, maybe?
A
Would a dowel
dowel.
work?
Yeah, find a dowel to fit through the CD hole, and then just like just like look up how to make your own hands drop spindle. So there's like really handy videos out there on how to make those. I've like kind of like made my own out of other wooden materials. So that's where I started. That's where I started. I started on the drop spindle, and then I moved up to like a wheel that one of our members was really cool, let me borrow, and I went from there. Like I said earlier, start with sheep fleece. Don't start with alpaca, because I started with alpaca on the drop spindle, and that took a while. I actually
It took a while, and you said, "I'm not doing this ever again."
Yeah, I still haven't touched any alpaca. I actually have alpaca fleece, but I haven't touched it, of course. So I'm not ready to start that whole adventure again yet. So
Now, are there any books, any informative YouTube videos, things like
YouTube's
that?
great. Um, the one maker of this one maker of wheels, the Ashford spinning wheels. The Ashford family who makes those wheels, they have a series of videos online that take you through it. They're very in depth, and those were the ones I watched, as well as like anybody else who was spinning, like anybody else's like Scottish grandma doing it. And yeah, like I said, I was lucky. I have a group of people who were willing to teach me. But yeah, YouTube's also pretty great because my fellow group members weren't always around. So it'd be like 10 o'clock on a Saturday night. I'm like, okay, how does this foot function work? And I was able to like go on YouTube and look up like how to apply yarn at the end of your thing. And so that was one way I learned. There's also books. I didn't look through any of the books, but
I think it's more, it probably better because it's more visual. Like
yeah,
I think
visual.
I would learn quicker if somebody showed me than if I tried to figure it out from something I was reading.
Yeah, yeah. That's why I haven't got into knitting because knitting is all they just they tell you how to knit through words, and
Right,
I'm
and they have terms for all these stitches, and I'm like, what?
yeah. But wool spinning, it's like it's visual, and you can watch like an hour and a half maybe at max, and you can get the gist down. And you're like, okay, I just gotta practice now. It's easier to learn how to spin than it is to knit. If you're anybody's curious. Oh, I'm also a amateur tufter. If you don't know what that is, I don't get to do it often, but it's like making rugs. If
Oh,
you for any of the people who do TikTok, I don't go on TikTok, but if you ever see like those blue guns where it just like you go up, they go up and they make the rugs. I do that.
okay.
Yeah, I did. I got into that not because of the trend, but because I obviously make a lot of yarn. And I was like, this would be awesome. This would be the perfect thing to show off to my group when I have a finished rug. So that's one thing I do. That's also pretty easy. That's like a nice yarn hobby that's kind of easy. It's hard in the beginning. You'll be like, what did I get myself into? But once you get started, it's
That's
pretty,
neat. And you said
yeah.
you do have a finished rug, or it's not finished yet?
I had a test rug that I
Test rug.
finished like a while ago with like acrylic yarn from like Joanne Fabrics because not to this day, I haven't used my finished yarn for a rug. So that's something I'm gonna do down the road, hopefully.
That'll be
Have,
neat. I'd like to see that.
yeah, yeah, I want to see it as well. I don't know when I'll see that, but
I think I don't know. This video probably won't go up this week for the thing that you're doing this weekend. But you are doing a spinning presentation. You're wearing period clothes. Where is that?
that's gonna be at the Governor Wolfe Mansion in
Ooh,
Nazareth. So
okay.
the Governor Wolfe Mansion. I did it for the first time last year, so this place is amazing. Everybody who participates is we're all dressed in period piece, like like the women they wear like the old dresses, and they wear like the head pieces, and then like the guys we wear like suspenders and like my one friend Matt, he's a weaver and he's making his own suspenders, so he's really like preparing for this. So yeah, so he's like making his own suspenders and a bunch of other stuff. And yeah, so we we get as close as we can to like that period of, you know, let's say of our craft and
Right.
being dressed up to do the craft.
Okay. And
It's
so,
really
so the period we're talking about would be like the 1800s, that sort of time frame, or
yeah. Yeah, 1800s, maybe 1700s. Some people do 1700s, some people do 1800s, and different periods within those time periods.
that's
But
right.
yeah, it's a great place and it's like beautiful. Like they use candlelight in there. We have fireplaces. There's no working heat, and
Oh,
it's
that's so neat.
yeah, yeah. So
Wow.
like in the one room we have a fireplace, and people come around. They're just like, "Here's some more wood. Here's some more wood."
Keep warm, people.
Keep warm. Yeah, there's like people in there downstairs in the one part right before the kitchen. There's a guy who does like furs and he does like the old rifles. And then there's like people in the kitchen who are doing the cooking. And there's like other people doing like blankets. They're like sewing blankets. I forget what they
Quilting?
were doing. They were doing quilting as well, but I forget the one thing they were doing. But yeah, they had quilts there, which were amazing. Yeah, so that's going to be like December 10th, or just follow their website, Governor Wolfe Mansion. They're in
Okay,
Nazareth.
did you say December 10th that was?
Yeah, December 10th,
Okay,
I
because
believe.
this will be up before then. So
Yeah, so yeah, stop by. It's a great thing to do. We're there all weekend. It's the Saturday and Sunday, and yeah, it's just
nice.
really cool. Also, people will feed you. They have cookies.
Oh, I'll be there.
Yeah, yeah, they make the cookies there. I believe they did last year. I think I was upstairs all day and just demonstrating. So yeah, it's a really wonderful event. Another great event that we don't participate in is the Gosh and Hoppin' Festival. That's in August, and we've had members who do other things there. So that's really period piece heavy, and you see like everything from wool spinning to woodworking to leather boot making to
Nice.
beam making. So that's a little off tangent of historical reenactment festivities.
It's still neat. You do a little woodworking too, I think you said.
Yeah, I'm very amateur. Like I do whittling, like with the knife.
I'd be losing fingers if I was doing that.
Oh, I've cut my fingers. Like I still have a scar, like right here or something
Aren't there
from
like
like.
special gloves that can prevent that? I saw somebody whittling on PBS and they were wearing some sort of gloves. I thought I need like a whole bodysuit because if I started winging a knife around, I'd be cutting myself everywhere.
Yeah, yeah, I cut myself like a couple good times. I was like, oh man, I gotta go to the ER.
Oh, jeez.
Thankfully, I didn't have to go. I was like, I went inside. I was like, "What's your opinion on this?" They're like, "You're fine." I'm like, "Good."
You'll survive. You're not bleeding to death yet. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of like my woodworking. I was also working on a kick spindle, which is a different kind of wheel. It's like the it's between a drop spindle and a regular spinning wheel. If you are interested in those, just like look those up online because kicks the like I said, it's a visual thing. So
Right, right.
you don't understand visually than me trying to tell you. It's like you kick the wheel and the wheel spins and you get your yarn. It's fun.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm trying to make one of those. Not sure how, but it's over in the corner.
Oh,
So
okay. So you're like trying to make it at this point in time. So that's pretty neat.
yeah, yeah. Hopefully by summer it'll be up and running. So
Okay. You know what? I was thinking once you have like that up and running and maybe, the get the loom and do a little bit, maybe I can come and do just videos. We don't have to do the whole interview thing and I'll post the videos to show what you're up to next.
yeah, yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, because I wanted to show that off, and weaving is a world of its own.
Yeah.
And by that time, I'll have some stuff to talk about, or
Okay.
just like have a small thing to talk about.
Okay. That'd be fun.
Yeah,
Um, So, is there anything else? Because I have no questions here, but I'm sure you might have something you might want to add.
yeah. Wool spinning is pretty great. We live in a crazy world where like we're like if you're like an office person or you work in a factory, where you work around like loud equipment or machinery, or you have like client deadlines. It's also a great way to unplug from that. It's not technological. It's a great thing to sit down. It's very relaxing, of course, but it takes you away from the whole LED cell phone madness, social media, and it kind of reconnects you with
Yes, yes.
just just yourself, and you also get yarn out of it. So
Yeah.
I
There's an
use
end
it.
product, so that's worth it. Yes.
Yeah, there's an end product, so it's worth it. But it's pretty great. It's a good recentering tool as well, especially like in our crazy modern world.
Yeah.
It's really cool. Like with like my old wheels, it's kind of like probably been like a lot of people who used it. A lot of people's like grandmothers or like even men did it. Men also did it. So it's kind of cool. Just like be kind of not just you're kind of like adding to the history of like the old wheels and then the new ones as well. And yeah,
And you're
they're
also
great.
like connecting. You're connecting to the past, and
Yeah, connecting to
that's
the past. It's
really neat.
yeah, it's cool. It's a cool practice. I'm glad to have been able to learn and share it with people. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's a it's a great thing to do. So for one, I believe that it's a great thing to pick up if you're interested. Like I said before, there's great videos out there. Find people in your community who do it. You probably can. I was down in like Myrtle Beach like last year, and there was like people at this park doing it. There was a group down there, and I believe there's also like I was in Texas a bit ago. They have a group down in Austin, Texas that does it in some park. So you can probably find people in person as well on YouTube.
Right, right. Yeah, if you can find people near you, probably in every state, I would think you might be able to find at least someone who does
Yeah,
it.
yeah, you
Is
can
that
find
neat?
so yeah, a lot of people do it. It's a good thing to learn. And am I missing anything?
I don't think so. I know you said you had multiple wheels, which I didn't know, but that's something we could do in the future one where you can show all these spinning wheels. Because I only got a view of the 1850s one and the one that was with the where you could put the whittle the what is it? Is it instead of a distaff? I don't know.
It's a
You were talking.
distaff.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one the upright. That one's
Yes.
kind of a little fun history tidbit. They didn't really make distaffs for those wheels. What you would do is you just go find a branch, you just like whittle the end down to fit through the hole, and that branch was your distaff.
Okay, so it was like there was never one. It wasn't you weren't just replacing one. That was the way you used it. That's really neat.
Yeah. Oh, another thing. I don't know how true this is. I'm still developing my research, but I was told at one point, and I don't know how true this is, but like for each state there is a wheel, like an old colonial wheel. Like let's say like Connecticut has a wheel, Pennsylvania, we definitely have wheels. New York has a wheel. I don't know about like California or Oregon or any of those places.
Right.
I don't think they have their own wheels, but I was told allegedly. So if anybody has information on whether or not that is true, let me know.
And actually, where can they reach out to let you know these things?
Um, well, I really don't have any like social links. I have like my Instagram, which is like me and my illustration, which is I'll send that to you.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
if anybody has any questions, you can send it to hit me up on Instagram, or you can email me. Um, my you have my email.
Yes. Yes. I'll
Yeah,
just add those at the end
yeah,
after this is over. I can tack it on to the end of the video because I'll even put on your Illustrator website because I think you have do you have a contact page or some contact
I have a
information
contact
on
page
there?
on there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
my website. So
Okay.
yeah, so those are the places you can reach me. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's just email on my website and Instagram.
Okay.
Yeah. So any other questions?
No, I don't see any over here on my list. So but yeah, I want to follow up though with the various things you're planning on doing, and we'll have to do this again, either with just a whole video of it or videos in the interview like we just did. Because yeah, I'm
Yeah,
really
that'd be
curious
awesome.
about it. Yes. Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you,
And
Robin.
we will talk again soon, I'm sure.
Yeah, take care, Robin. It was good catching up with you.
You too.
Looking forward to the next podcast.
Yes, me too.